Golden nightfall, burn it up. Let's go, let's go. Story time, make sure you already know. Baby, can't hit play like in who drops deep cuts like that's doing. Same beat, same seat, every line like a spark in the dark, in the dark, in the dark. From the first word to the last beat, every moment pulls you in deep. Hit the light switch, feel that screen glow. Take a breath now, we're about to blow, 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 blow. Are you ready for season 3? Going nightfall, come ride with me. Hit subscribe, get your mind. Run free, you're the spark in this energy. Are you ready for season 3? Turn it loud, let the questions lead. Every episode, new mystery. By nightfall, that's the place to be. That's the place to be. Cold facts, hot taste, straight fire. New name, same heart, same wire. Laugh lines, plot twist, rewind. Every drop like the first time. From the first word to the last beat, every moment pulls you in deep. Hit the light switch, feel that screen glow. Take a breath now, we're about to blow. Are you ready for season 3? Golden nightfall, come ride with me. Subscribe, let your mind run free. You're the spark in this energy. Are you ready for season 3? Turn it loud, let the questions lead. Every episode, new mystery. The Golden nightfall, that's the place to be. That's the place to be. Let's go. Golden nightfall, season 3. Let's go. Every night, one goal, like your mind or soul.
What's up, guys? It's season 3. I'm here with Soren on this episode 2, April 6th, 2026. We're back. Let's get to it. How's it going, man?
What a season it's gonna be. It's good to be back, mate. How you doing?
I'm all right. It's been a while. Needed to recharge. Are you guys okay out there? Price is where it is. It's not very fun. If you need to talk about it, let's talk about it. But you've been busy, Soren, so let's tell everybody what you've been up to and why you've been away for the last little while.
Yeah, no, I mean I can't give out too many details, but I've been busy on a real life project, nothing to do with crypto. It's related to the business that I run in real life. So I've been super busy with that, and I know you've been busy too. And we're not going to talk too much about it because it's still super duper secret. But I've seen it, and it is legit. It's going to blow a lot of people's minds. So yeah, no, I've been incredibly busy, and I'm enjoying it. So it's been good, and it's also good to be back here with my wingman, Mr. Tracer.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I started just like goofing around with something, and the full build ended up being the MVP kind of thing. So it was like it just kept getting bigger and bigger, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna do this, like, nobody's ever going to use this thing if I don't like go all the way. So yeah, it's still going to take some time, and there's so much stuff on the back end to do. But yeah, it's I'm learning a lot, and it's a really cool thing. And in the end, You know, I can even use, there's going to be 3 versions of the thing, and I'll even be able to use the legacy version in just, you know, what I do for my day job and stuff. So it's because I'm paying like $110 a month for this subscription for this program that I use. So at the end, I'll have a program that's, you know, at least I can use. So
absolutely, and without revealing too much, I'm going to be able to use at least parts of this for my business, and eventually all of it for my business. So it's actually very nice for small and medium-sized businesses.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It was like at first it was just going to be like one tiny module from that app, and then it was like, well, you know, and right now, like Soren, in terms of, because obviously the first most complicated version that I'm building right now, it uses like private tokens and privacy infrastructure. I don't think a program like this exists anywhere yet.
It does not.
For a business to be able to use that. And so just like to give an idea of use case, because somebody asked me this, like, what would be a use case for this thing? It's like, well, you know, because it's hard for businesses to run on private tokens, but I guess, you know, certain parts of your business, it was like, what if a crypto company needed to pay their influencers for marketing, but they didn't want to know who, when, where, and how? This gives you a way to absolutely track every single transaction, you know, before it's sent to the Explorer, because once it goes, you can't read it. So it basically forces you to, you know, have a system for that. And without saying more, that's kind of like one little part of this app. So
yeah, no, absolutely, and you know, it's a great use case for Web3 companies and for small and medium-sized businesses. Enough said.
Yeah, but so that's what we've been up to, and let's get right back into it like we never stopped. And I'm going to pass the mic over to Soren for his most recent weekly update, and then we'll get into all the stuff that's been going on the last 3 months.
Yeah, so we're going to have a few, we're going to touch on a few updates today, but let's start with the last weekly update, which is the Easter update. So there were several things worthy of attention last week. COTI continued the rollout of COTI Nightfall, which is the latest addition to our ecosystem. One of the things that caught my mind was a very nice flywheel illustration that they posted. I couldn't put the video clip up, some technical things, but basically it illustrates how Nightfall and the new tokenomics will scale along with the rest of the ecosystem. Now, I say new tokenomics, and it's a bit of a mischaracterization, because most of what is in the new tokenomics was actually in the original white paper. The direction is different, and the speed of travel is different. They're adapting to market realities, and what we are essentially saying is that this is coming a bit earlier than probably what was originally anticipated. So what's the flywheel? Simply put, it's more change, generate more transactions, generating more fees, generating higher burns, reducing circulating supply, appreciating price, and increasing, and increasing the amount of stake COTI. Now, the stake COTI has actually gone up a little bit. 2 things can drive that. One is the printing of new tokens, which is going to continue as per the schedule. So the fact that there are more tokens in circulation means that there should be more tokens staked. But also price appreciation has historically been a big driver for the amount of stake COTI. People are more interested in staking when the price goes up. So 2 easy ways to keep track of this in the coming months. As Nightfall moves through the testnet phase towards mainnet, you can look at daily transactions on the Explorer, and you can look at the amount of COTI staked in the treasury. Yeah, because we're still at a relatively low amount of daily transactions, currently sitting at about 125,000 or 130,000 a day. So any anything starts happening, you will definitely be able to see it quite quickly on the number of transactions. The other thing that I picked up last week was a side-by-side comparison between Gabel circuits and Nightfall. So this is very useful. We're going to be talking quite a bit about Nightfall today, but this is quite useful for those who still struggle a little bit with the why are we doing Nightfall? Yeah, what's the point of COTI Nightfall? Nightfall. We're going to talk. As I said, we're going to talk a little bit more about this. But Nightfall is specifically designed to have very strong compliance credentials at the AML KYC level, whilst Gabel circuits is perfectly placed to do the heavy lifting, being fast, light, and literally infinitely scalable. So you're getting the best of both worlds. Now, just to clear up a couple of misconceptions, Gabel circuits is not compliant. Yeah, it's just that there's a route to go to get things compliant, and because it's a new cryptographic way of doing privacy, it's probably a fairly long route for compliance. And so basically Nightfall, amongst many other things, is a bit of a shortcut to compliance. For all of this to make complete sense, you look at two specific announcements from the last week. First one was the IMF note on tokenized finance. Now, most people looked at that and looked at creative ways as to why this note was a perfect fit for their favorite token. And there were some very good, very creative ones out there. But there's a much simpler way to look at it. IMF's for years been dead set against blockchains and tokens. Now, after seeing big money, and I mean like the likes of BlackRock and others pushing tokenization so heavily, they basically bent the knee. That's the main significance. This is international finance coalescing around tokenization. The second announcement, which was a much smaller one that probably went on most people's radar, was the launch or basically a mention of by the Circle CEO of Circle Nano Payments, AI agents holding tokenized dollars and doing literally infinite amounts of transactions at a fraction of a penny per transaction. And this will be one of the main use cases for tokenization and will require systems that can compliantly scale infinitely and do it cheaply. So when you see things like this, it becomes clear that if you have the tech to combine compliance and scaling, you're basically listening to what the customers and or markets are telling you. And then I believe, in my mind at least, I believe that the addition of Nightfall to our ecosystem makes a lot more sense. So plenty of work ahead for COTI on this, navigating the whole transition, but I believe they're very well placed to take advantage of what comes next. So that was that.
Sorry, I was getting distracted there with the, comments, but that's all right. Yeah, what a guy. Yeah, what a great update. You have another one that you wanted to go to here, hey?
Yeah, so what we wanted to do today, Tracer, we wanted to talk a little bit more about Nightfall and talk a little bit more about what it is and what it does for COTI and what it does for Nightfall as well.
So you wanted to talk about this one here, right?
Yeah, so I'll do the second part of that weekly update because the first part is about tokenomics, and we will talk about this in a little while as well. So basically, the announcement of Nightfall was quite unexpected. I mean, your first thoughts and my first thoughts were, what the hell? Why are we doing this? What are we doing this for? Yeah, literally our first thoughts, and I think it took you 10 minutes, and it took me about 20 minutes before it dawned on us.
It's not. It's just like the pivot to V2 and going to Ethereum, right? It was like, what do you mean, right? And so I needed to read it a couple times. It took me like, over 18, 24 hours. I was like, okay, like we need to hear more. Like, what's the deal with that? But yeah, it's definitely interesting. And now we kind of get that, okay, they're looking for the one-stop shop. They want everybody to have options. And honestly, for me, I think the big thing for me is some people can FUD this, but we've been hearing you guys say everybody knows what ZK is, but they don't know what Garble Circus is. They don't understand the GCVM. They don't know who COTI is. So those people that were complaining about, ZK being the thing, well, now we got it. And you're complaining. So it doesn't make sense, right? Why not be able to offer everything along with the privacy on demand suite? So that's my take on it. And I'll let you continue. I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, no, and you're absolutely bang on. And I think that's why most people were saying, well, why are we doing this now? I thought we were going to be the alternative to CK. Well, we might still be, but and Nightfall is not really about being something that CK is not. It's about having CK under your hood for very, very specific reasons, and the reasons are that Nightfall is. We talked about it in the previous update that I read out. It's got extremely strong compliance credentials, so it's basically a shortcut to compliance. Yeah, it is, and when you combine it with Garble circuits to do the heavy lifting and doing everything cheap and light, which CK still cannot do, then you got the identity part, which is the compliance bit, and then you got the heavy lifting, the volume part. So it is the best of both worlds, and it's plug and play. It's production grade privacy with enterprise and institutional credibility. Nightfall was built by Ernst Young and then open sourced, and compliance is everywhere. These people, if they don't know compliance, nobody does. So I mean, they know it better than anyone else. They're one of the big 4 accounting companies in the world. So of course they know what compliance looks like.
You know what's funny, Soren? It's everybody was looking for a household name partnership, right?
That's it.
And they got that with this, except we're taking the tech with us. So it's kind of a big deal, right? And I think some people, as you've seen earlier in the comments, and still, they always look at they're always looking at through the long way, like the wrong way of the telescope, right? It's just human nature for them, and that's how they do it. And it's like, there is no way to see this as a bad idea. It took me a while to understand why, but this is not a bad thing, guys. Like, if you're being led to believe it is, you need to look at these things for yourself. Okay, it's all about DYOR. I'm gonna shut up now. But yeah,
and if you've been led to believe that this is a bad thing, just because the price didn't pump 640% on the announcement, then you are definitely being led up the garden path on this. Yeah, and you need to really seriously question who you listen to, honestly, because the synergy here is mind-boggling. Yeah, you got Paul Brody, who is former Ernst Young. He's it's his brainchild. It's his child. So it's his thing. He's also the head of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, where we have a very prominent position now, and it's even more prominent because we are basically going to bring Nightfall to Ethereum mainnet. Yeah, and so you can imagine the synergy there, and think about the potential unlocking of Ernst Young client pipelines that this could facilitate. Yeah, this is one of the big 4 accounting companies where the main one of the previous main guys is now heading up the Enterprise Ethereum Foundation, and we're taking their blockchain and integrating it with Gabel circuits. I don't know how much more synergy you can cram into one thing. So I know we haven't seen, and it's going to be a while before we see anything concrete come out of this. These things are going to take their time, but the synergy is super strong. So the result will be, once this thing starts rolling, you will see very fast institutional adoptions, both in terms of private RWAs, private TradFi, DeFi, payments, logistic, identity, and so much more, because you have now a one-stop privacy layer where you have everything you could possibly ask for.
Yeah, and this wasn't about bringing price, but it definitely is about visibility, right? For those who are waiting for the price to catch up to this, let's not forget that it's not even on testnet yet. They're planning to bring it to mainnet this year. So you might see something from that. But it put eyes on COTI. Now COTI again once again has to deliver, right? So it's up to them to make it happen. And I would say quickly, but this brings eyes to everything. So it's not like bringing Nightfall doesn't just bring eyes to Nightfall. It brings eyes to the entire privacy stack. And for people who are looking for more complicated, like multi-party compute, complex compute, there's even more options above what the Zkink can offer for them.
Yeah, and does anyone else offer a full stack privacy solution like this? Soon on Ethereum mainnet, part of the toolbox for the Enterprise Ethereum Foundation? No, sir, they don't. Yeah, they got the FHE and the CK, but they're all separate. Yeah, nobody offers the full Monty. So I don't think there's anything to be negative about here. I think it's purely a positive thing, and it is completely, by the way, it's completely in line with the vision that Jahav described earlier this year. And of course, he would have known about this when he described the vision. So definitely, I'm super positive about it. I did struggle to understand it for a very short time, but I quickly came around to understanding what a strategically bold and strong move this is.
Well, you always lay that stuff out so well, Soren. So thank you for doing that.
Not at all.
Yeah. So we had some slides here that you wanted to add to your talk about Nightfall.
Yeah. So basically, what Gabel Circuits has already done, we've already shown that we can handle private transactions at scale. We did 330,000 private transactions every single day for a month. We've done 110 million transactions, not all of them private, obviously, but 110 million transactions in 1 year of mainnet. We got partners in private DeFi, private RWA, private supply chain, got private wallets. We got everything. Yeah, and then you add to that Nightfall, which is basically gives you the full stack solution, and particularly when it comes to AML KYC part of the equation. So when you want to onboard users in a compliant way, Nightfall fits in perfectly. Yeah, this is why we talked about when you want to onboard users to your project, Nightfall may actually be quite a handy solution for you.
It's funny. I hadn't even, because I'm horse blinders. I got horse blinders on, right? Trying to deal with some of the challenges and conflicts I'm dealing with right now in the app. And when you said that to me today, I was like, I didn't even put two and two together. And you kind of made me think for a little while there. That is interesting. Yeah, that was a good point.
Yeah, because compliance is a funny thing. Everyone thinks that they're compliant until they actually need to be compliant, and then they're not. And Nightfall was built with compliance in mind. Yeah. Now compliance changes. It's a moving feast, but it's in the DNA of Nightfall. So I don't think, I don't think you could go to where you need to go compliance-wise any faster than what we've done with Nightfall. Yeah, but as I also say, it's by far not the only reason why Nightfall is a good idea, but it's definitely a part of it.
Yeah, and it's like everybody says, you know, when they announce V2, it's like, oh well, Cody's gonna miss the bull market again. Well, you know, now it's like a fast track with more tentacles out there for the next time the market gets juicy, right?
Yeah,
and Cody's always said, like, we're not building for one bull, we're not building for one bear, we're building something that, you know, will be pertinent forever. And privacy was that new meta. And look how long, when you look at some of the other viral narratives like NFTs, food coins, AI, blah blah blah, list goes on and on for the last little while. Of course, AI is still a thing, but you know, like, I don't know about AI stocks or AI coins, tokens. I haven't really heard too much about that, but privacy has been a narrative and keeps getting stronger. And I think what we'll see with privacy is there will still be new hot narratives, but privacy will always be there because privacy is the enabler, especially for crypto, because like Shahaf and everybody's been saying, it's one of the biggest blockers, right?
Yeah,
so I think it's going to be important to be able to offer multiple ways of being able to deliver privacy at scale for cheap. And when we say cheap, for like negligible amounts of transaction cost, right?
Yeah. Cody Ship nailed it more than a year ago when he said privacy is a meta narrative. It's not one of these half a cycle or one cycle narratives and then everyone forgets about it. It's going to be there. Yeah, and people are going to need it because it's integrated into the whole compliance issue, so it ain't going to go anywhere.
Yeah, just wanted to hide the comments a little bit there so you guys could read that slide, and we'll move to the next here. I know you like this one. We'll probably hide that again. I know you like this one too, right, Soren?
Yeah, no, I love this one because this is what Nightfall does. Yeah. And maybe, you know, if it helps you, maybe focus on the things that are not in that slide. Yeah. So the things that are not there is scale, lightweight, and cheap transactions. Yeah. That's what we bring. Nightfall has everything else. It's got the whole compliance flow. From AML KYC to counterparty verification to audit trail, private provenance, no centralized gatekeeper. So that's your whole compliance circle. Yeah, and what we are simply adding to this is we got this, and now you can do it all at scale. And we showed it. We showed it very clearly with Statwick. Yeah. 330,000 transactions in a day, private transactions, yeah, for a month at a total cost of $5. Now, I have some comments about that $5 later on when we talk about the tokenomics. But this shows you can do it at scale. And if you can do 330,000 transactions with a network load of, I don't know, what was it, 5-6%, it never veered off. It never veered away from that much. Yeah, we are back to what we've talked about so many times. COTI was not, Gabble Circuits was not built for 1 million transactions per day. Yeah, it's built for hundreds and hundreds of millions of transactions every day.
So we had the pleasure a few months ago of welcoming Amateo to the first episode of season 3 and got to introduce him to the community. Now, I'm sure you guys have seen and heard lots more from him because he's been pretty active podcast and spaces and stuff like that, and speaks really well about, you know, the I don't want to say new vision, but I guess, you know, it kind of is now. We're starting to see a little COTI forge a bit of a new path. And I think Amateo is doing that really well. Marketing has been thrown upside down now, and it is different, and but it seems to be effective. I heard from somebody that he got some incredible amounts of impressions for some of the stuff that he did for COTI Nightfall, and I think it was into the 100 million of impressions, which is really, and it may be higher now, but that is something that everybody's been asking for so many years. So Amateo was the one who delivered he basically like the last presentation of the eWay blockchain summit. So we're just going to give you we're going to run a quick clip from that. If you guys haven't seen his 15-minute presentation in full, you can see it on my timeline. I think it's been shared other places, but I think I have it pinned right now. It's only 15 minutes. It's worth watching. And here's 2 minutes from that. This is Soren's favorite clip.
As we work on this instance and bring it to testnet in the coming weeks and then further into mainnet, it really is built for regulation, compliance, and business. And I think that there's just so much attention when it comes to banks, when it comes to the biggest asset managers of the world. We really feel like there's a huge opportunity for the millions of businesses, from the mom and pop shops to the enterprises, that entire scale to actually access this ecosystem and this world. And that's something that we're really pushing for and that we're very passionate about. We think that the big institutions are going to lead the way in this in a very notable fashion. I don't know if anyone would have bet on that 10 years ago, that they would be the ones to be the leaders in taking the leap. But today they really are. Whether it's a business or an enterprise, they can access the AML KYC flows. That's actually using X509 protocol. Those are the same identity protocols that standardize the internet. So it's a standardized protocol that's going to be brought down to the AML KYC level that we know is essential for working with different regulatory bodies. Paul asked a question about how, to the panel before me, about how they think about handling the compliance logic, and we just see that as logic. What's your business? What's the regulatory body, and where are you doing business? What needs to be satisfied, and what are the checks and balances that need to be met? What are the credentials that need to be revealed, and to whom? That needs to be programmable. We take that same approach. And the more that programmability becomes logic, it's actually baked into the chain, it's baked into the smart contract, the faster assets can flow, the more global commerce can open.
So Amateo makes an interesting point here. He talks about how, maybe 10, 15 years ago, the usual suspects that would have been, going after Bitcoin and all of the, those majors at the time, Ethereum, etc. All the people that would have been attacking that now are saying like, hey, like we need to get on this. We want to be the first to market with it. And so there's definitely a shift. And just like the internet, it was the same thing with phone companies and etc. that were trying to fight that. Now it's like, okay, well, let's get on this. So I asked Soren what his favorite clip was from that 15 minutes talk, which you should definitely watch. Maybe I'll play it at the end of the stream. Maybe that's what I'll do. So you guys can stick around for that if you wanted to. But yeah, this was your favorite one. And then I'm going to move to your other slide after this. You ready for that slide now, I guess?
Yeah, I'm ready, mate. Sorry, I was distracted also while the clip was running.
All right. So yeah, you said this slide really spoke to you.
Yeah, because basically what this shows is all the use cases that we've been focusing on for the last 12 months. Yeah. Supply chain is in there, data is in there, financial services like central bank digital currencies, digital ownership, and tokenization. We're the first ones to put private RWAs on chain. So yeah, so Nightfall use cases are our use cases. So it's another synergy there, and really again shows why it's actually a very nice fit for COTI.
So, I think to summarize for me, it was very simple. It puts more eyes on all of our offerings. It gives us more options for developers, and opens up, new revenue streams, which, we'll talk a little bit more moving forward. But you touched on tokenomics a little bit, and I'm gonna bring back your second last weekly update. But I just wanted you to give your thoughts a little bit on that, because you kind of wrote up a little bit here. What's going on?
Yeah.
Am I correct? Okay, let's go.
Yeah, so and this actually ties in with Nightfall as well eventually. So basically, we got the tokenomics update, and there was lots of good stuff in that announcement, and of course a lot of community focus on this proposed or the commitment or proposal to burn 100 million COTI, subject to community approval. Of course, I'm not against deflationary measures such as that, but I would like them to be repeatable in the future. Because the effect would compound very nicely over time. Now, for that to happen, we need a few things, in my opinion. We need higher transaction fees for private transaction. Yeah, there is an awful long way with the fees we're currently charging. There is an awful long way to 100 million COTI in transaction fees plus 50% of bridge fees. So what we can see from the announcement is that the intent is there to price private transactions according to the degree of complexity. Now, this is important because we could easily be 10x more expensive and still be 10x less expensive than anyone else. Yeah. So I think we could easily increase our price quite a lot and still be super, super competitive with everyone else in the market. Yeah. So instead of Statwick having paid $5 for the 10 million transactions, they could have paid $50 or $500. It doesn't, still doesn't matter to them. There's also the announcement of the privacy bridge, which is a very nice piece of infrastructure. And of course, this is critical for cross-chain transactions. Where am I losing my train of thought here? Yeah. So and the privacy bridge, we're gonna basically COTI is gonna set aside half of all the bridge fees for the token burn, whilst the other half is going to go towards ecosystem growth and development.
I know a lot of people are seeing that tokenomics update, and they're asking, well, what about G-COTI, right? When can we get some votes happening? When can we start, voting to burn more and everything else like that? So, I guess it's coming. We'll have to wait and see. But, overall, Soren, how did you feel about that tokenomics, just like broad strokes? Did it make you feel better? Were you worried about tokenomics?
I thought it was good. I thought overall it was good. Not a lot in there that surprised me, because most of it's described in quite a lot of detail in the white paper. As I said earlier, it's just come a little bit earlier than what the white paper not suggested but hinted at. Yeah. Because before you can do token burns, you need to have a reasonable amount of revenue, so you have something to burn from. Yeah. Otherwise, you might take half of your tokens, Trace, and a third of mine. We can take all of Poodlej's and all of Paul's, and we can start burning them. That's not going to go down very well, is it? So there's going to have to be a system around all this before it can work. And the one thing that we've seen with mainnet so far is an awful lot of transactions and very, very low revenues. Yeah. Now we know the reasons for that, but we also know that we can actually charge a lot more for private transactions, and charge them according to complexity is an even better idea to generate more income. So that was the bit that was not in the white paper, and it was the bit that I liked the most, because it shows that the guys are paying attention to what everyone else is doing and saying, okay, so that's where everyone else is. We can definitely charge more for what we're doing. So
I can understand the focus on
this part of it, in my opinion. Yeah,
I can understand the focus from some people on tokenomics, because most of the people come to the space from Bitcoin, and that hard-coded 21 million Bitcoin. It's like, that is like one of the first things you learn, right? And that's, scarce digital scarcity and everything else like that. And so I can understand why people are hyper focused on that. I know just a little while ago I was talking to somebody. We looked at the current supply, and I think it was like 2.7 billion at that point. And it is kind of surprising. But I think we're turning the corner now with seeing, look, everybody wanted mainnet to go live and us to have 1 million people transacting. We wanted CBDCs, digital shekel, ECB, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if those kinds of things would have happened or still happen, then the tokenomics make sense. I like how I don't want to call it a pivot, but I like how they're, being dynamic with this. It's going to be interesting to see when we go one more year where we'll be with it. Almost everybody wants burns. I totally understand it. Some people weren't happy with the 100 million, but okay, so it's like a little bit of a small, it's a bit of a small figure considering the inflation, but like, let's see where it goes, right? The tokenomics was never going to make everybody happy. I'm glad to see that there's movement on that, and maybe we'll see more, and maybe there'll be community initiatives that will allow us to kind of amplify those.
And I think it's critical for everyone to sort of put a realistic expectation against this. Yeah, token burns. We're not going to burn 1 billion tokens, and token burns in any case is not in and of itself going to be some sort of magic wand that'll pump price. Yeah. There is literally nothing that pumps the price in this market at the moment. There will be later on when sentiment starts to improve, and then token burns will simply be one of many initiatives. But it's one of those that as we use Nightfall to get on more chains, Ethereum mainnet, Starknet, Cello, and there was one or two more, you will see an increased amount of transactions. A lot of them will be private, and they will be more expensive than what transactions you're seeing now. Yeah, and that will start to generate more fees, and that'll mean the token burns can become a permanent feature. Yeah, and that compounds over the years. Yeah, so that's one part of it. The second part is don't be so sure that the community is totally happy at all times about token burns. Yeah, it's easy to be in favor of token burns when the price is 1 cent. It's an entirely different thing to take tokens, and instead of distributing them amongst the community, we burn them when the price is at 30 cents or 20 cents or whatever the price. When price is higher, you might see a significant shift in community opinion about this. So I want to just put that word of caution out there. Don't think that token burns is just a gimme. Yeah, it's not. Don't take it for granted, but it is a good idea, and it's a good thing to have in our toolbox.
A side note here, Soren, but I didn't want to do this, but I'm going to be more vigilant on moderating the comments, because I love having the comments open and on the screen. There are unfortunately some people that abuse that, and we've kind of let it go. We're just going to start, cleaning that up. So let's be respectful to the people who are putting in their time for this, and let's not attack other community members. It's not the place. I'm sick of it. I'm done with it. It's not adding anything. So that's enough with that. But it's funny, you know.
If you want to be here and listen to us, feel free. And if you don't, find somewhere else to go. We're happy either way. Yeah.
But it's funny, just, you know, we've talked a lot about Nightfall, but it's like every time, you know, somebody starts talking to me about something, it's starting to all come back to, you know, why is that important? And it's all about, for me, what I keep focusing on is, you know, more than the options for developers, etc. It's the visit, and it's two different visibilities, right? It's the familiarity with ZK, and it's who built Nightfall and how we can kind of harness that energy, right? So, you know, the more I talk it out, the more I talk to people who are, you know, low-key bullish on it, it really starts to make sense. And even, you know, since this stream, it's starting to get a little bit more clear for me. But yeah, you know, we could dedicate a whole show to Nightfall. We could dedicate a whole show to tokenomics. But you know, I've been, and it's my fault, MIA for 3 months. So we're going to try to get through everything else here. I want to talk about the Vibe Code campaign really quickly. And then I want to focus on Cypher Trade, because that is an unbelievable product. But just your thoughts on the Vibe Code challenge, Soren. You were talking about some of the projects that you looked into and thought were neat.
Yeah, I mean,
we didn't want to say anything about these until, you know, the decision had been made. We didn't want to bring anybody on here and kind of put the spotlight on them. But now I think it's okay to kind of talk about some of the ones that stood out for you.
Yeah, and we're not going to be too specific about it once we have a much better overview of what was actually submitted, because I think we've only seen bits and pieces of it. But there's definitely been a significant amount of interest. There's been a lot of entries to this contest. There was a what you call it, prediction betting platform. I think there's an auction platform. There's a whole bunch of different games. And this is all stuff that's gonna, whether you like it or not, and whether it's vibe coded or not, if it utilizes the network and is built on the network, it's gonna drive quite a nice amount of transactions. So yeah, I definitely think it's a good idea. You know, vibe coding is one of these things. It's easy to FUD it, but a lot of people are paying attention to this, and a lot of people are making their lives significantly easier by vibe coding homepages for the little mom and pop businesses, vibe coding commercial online platforms and things like that. No, I think it's great. Now, why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we have a little competition like that?
It's easy to FUD right now. I get it. Everybody's talking about AI slop. There's a lot of pushback, and I totally understand it. And vibe coding is kind of sloppy right now. Like, it's amazing. Like, for simple things, how fast you can get through things. What is really powerful is for finding, like, instead of debugging a code base with your eyeballs, you know, to feed that into an LLM or cursor or whatever you're using, and to kind of find that syntax error, it's unbelievably powerful for that. So, you know, I get, you can't, I mean, some people that are FUDding vibe coding don't even know what it is. I can understand FUDding some things about vibe coding for sure. But this term has only really been a thing for a little over a year, guys. Can you imagine what that's going to look like in a few? Like, it's going to be incredibly powerful, and it already is. But it's kind of funny. It's like, you know, right now, you could take your project from like 0 to, you know, 70%, 80% pretty easily, depending on what you're building. When you're looking for enterprise grade, like, yeah, you can't, in my opinion, you can't really take it all the way without, you know, well, like Mark says, that superstar developer. But just using vibe coding and having like this much coding knowledge is extremely powerful. Using vibe coding with no knowledge is scary, because all of a sudden it'll hallucinate and try to completely destroy your whole project. So, but it also, working with vibe coding, it also teaches you a lot about coding, because you're doing the same steps over and over and over again. It's really interesting. They kind of, before we went to Bangkok a year ago, they asked us, so play with these a little bit so that you can actually know what you're talking about. And I was not sold at that point. I'm like, this is trash. I don't like it. I'll never do this. And now I'm like, using different tools here and there to kind of assist with certain aspects of different projects and stuff. And I've even built little things for me, just, like faucets are a bad example, but it's amazing what you can put together for that. Even stuff like some of the stuff that we were playing with for trading agents, Soren, we built a couple tools that kind of assist us with that. We'll talk about one day, but
but you make a good point. If you look at how far vibe coding has come from when we were in Bangkok until now.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
that's the scary part, because it's become so much more sophisticated, and we're still at the infancy. We're still in the infancy of this. Yeah, we ain't seen nothing yet. Now, our favorite subject of the last many months.
Yeah, and I want to be like absolutely clear here. This is not part of the vibe coding segment here. This is something else. Okay. And I know that Stefanos uses, some tools to help him. This is not a vibe coded project. This is more than that. What started with a very, I don't even want to say, it's only simple now because of what it's been built into, but what started as a simple Telegram mini app that had private token, it had private token infrastructure, it had a chat, it had this and that, was built into something that through the community was beta tested and now is actually available on Google Play. It is integrating with Wallet Connect. It has a security and anti-fraud layer. I am not even up to date on all of its features, but this is an unbelievable thing. You can connect to our treasury with it now. What's been following Stefanos build this and add new features and new builds every day has been pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I can't add much to that because I'm completely blown away with all the things that he's managing to cram into this, and he's done the app for the mobile phone as well, the Android version, which was a huge lift for him to get the Android app approved. And I know he's working on the iOS version as well. But what really strikes me is that this is a truly private wallet. Yeah, it's got private transactions at the very center of what it does. Yeah, private transactions for your token transactions, private transactions for every confidential message you send in the message app, and so forth and so forth. So privacy is really at the center of it, and it goes back to something we talked about maybe 6 months ago, maybe 12 months ago. One of the things we really wanted to see was a COTI-centric wallet. Yeah, and my God, Stefanos has really built a COTI-centric wallet. Yeah, it does everything that COTI does, and I know he's added a few more features this weekend. Can't tell you about it because it's something we've been testing on the sidelines, which is coming soon. Very, very nice, by the way. And COTI asked us to test this, and Stefanos within the hour had it on the. He basically had it integrated into his Android app within the hour. Yeah, the guy is he's mental. He's so fast and so clever when it comes to these things. It's really good. So yeah, I'm totally in awe because he's delivered what everyone's been asking for. So I would ask the whole community to please support it as much as you can. That's the least we can do for Stefanos, and it's the least we can do for a product that we've all been asking for. Yeah. So I don't want this to go the way of many other things. As we ask for it, then we get it, and then nobody uses it, and then it kind of goes away again. I really don't want this to happen for Cypher Trade, because it is an amazing product, and the more Stefanos builds onto it, the more sophisticated it gets.
Yep. And even the Telegram version is fun because you can do like in chat room tipping, right?
Yeah. Which
we've been playing with private tokens, and even with COTI and the secret chat and everything. It's really fun to play with. So I don't know what else to say about it. You just got to go check it out, especially if you have an Android. And if you don't, you can grab it in Telegram. You can find that at COTI Confidential. Just ask somebody and we'll send you a link. But yeah, amazing. And one of these days he'll come on here and talk about it. And that will be fun. But not to go too much into it because there's too much. I'd like to do a whole hour on it, and maybe he'll let us do that. And maybe Crafter will integrate it at one point. He probably wanted me to say that. What are those guys doing anyways?
I know there's been some banter back and forth on that front. But no, of course, of course, it'll integrate NFTs. It will have everything. I know Stefanos well enough that I know he will integrate everything that's in the COTI ecosystem that he can integrate. He will integrate, no doubts.
Yeah, well, he'll just harass everybody until they realize that he's not going to shut up until you do what he asks.
Yeah, you'll get capybara and cat videos until you surrender.
So what else are we looking forward to before we end this episode? What are we looking forward to this year? We are looking forward to privacy on demand, I would assume. We're looking forward to Node's ecosystem. We're looking forward to the first private RWA, not only on testnet, but now going to mainnet. And I'm very interested in finding out what that is. Will it be gold, oil? Will it be a basket? What do you think it's going to be?
I have absolutely no idea. I suspect gold or silver, but that's just my guess. One other thing to look forward to, what I particularly look forward to is for Statwick to go more industrial on the next. I don't know if there's going to be another pilot or are they just going to go full scale and blow the socks off our whole network. Because what they did with 10 million transactions in 30 days, that was one pilot in Bangladesh. Yeah, and they are active in a lot of other places. This is a UN-supported program. So it's definitely got a lot of legs. And I know they're working very hard at Statwick to take it to the next level. This I would like to see because it's such a good use case of scale when it comes to private.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting to see Amateo talking about that. Of course, new treasury. And it's funny, I had that backwards, but we expect Node's ecosystem before we see new treasury, apparently. And maybe that's still the case. Is there anything I'm forgetting?
No, I think you got it pretty much covered. Of course, from the community point of view, Node's ecosystem and new treasury is something we desperately need. Something that works, with a bridge that works, and it's going to be great.
Just want to thank EY.
Whoops. Any closing thoughts from you? That wasn't supposed to play yet. I don't know if something's going on with my dashboard here.
No, it's just that I would say in general it's been a tough start to the year with a lot of uncertainty in the world, wars everywhere, and lots of weird things happening. and clarity coming out of the US is still not there. So I'm talking about that piece of legislation that should hopefully kickstart a more broad entry of enterprises into Web3 is not there. So yeah, we're not going anywhere. I mean, somebody famously once said the rumors of my death has been greatly exaggerated, and the same goes with COTI. Yeah, we are no different than anyone else. We're struggling in this market. We're struggling with the token price. We're struggling to make an impact with what we're building. Completely normal. Everyone else has the same issue.
Yeah.
And I do want to say that, as far as I know, Shahaf and the team are all well and working as best as they can. Sometimes in the office, sometimes not. But that's the nature of the beast as it is currently.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Soren and I know, as you guys have felt lately, that you know, when price goes in the toilet, you can get really
You muted yourself, mate.
No, there's something going on with my system here. It just disconnected from my interface. So I don't know if you guys heard any of that, but Soren and I know what it's like when price goes in the toilet, and it's really easy to get discouraged. So that's what COTI Confidential is here for. We have a 24/7 chat on Telegram. You can come in there and vent and talk about it. You know, you're not alone. A lot of people are feeling the same things that you're feeling right now. But you know, at a certain point, you just have to decide if you still believe or you don't. And we're going to try to take you through all of that and share all the knowledge we can and try to help you make that decision for yourself. If you would have told me that it would be April 2026 and this would only be the second episode of COTI Confidential, I would have thought that was laughable. But here we are. I know that Soren has been very busy as well, but we're going to try to put more of these shows together. And I'll be honest, I am feeling that right now, COTI is cooking. I feel some momentum. And when I feel that momentum, it really helps motivate me to put these shows out. Another thing that helps is when you guys come out with your positive comments, showing up. We have 267 viewers right now. It's super appreciated, and that gives us the motivation to continue on. But you know, it's funny. COTI Nightfall has been, to me, this is a big deal because it's all about the visibility and the validation for the project. Not only having, you know, the ZK name on board, but the EY as well. It's just to work with big partners like that. It's something special, and I think that, you know, if you don't have a positive frame of mind about it, maybe you need to do a little more GYOR about it. And I think that's it for this one. Thank you for being here. And we're going to put together more of these for you. For anybody who has the time for the next 15 minutes or rewatch it later, I'm going to play the entire 15-minute presentation, COTI Nightfall at the EY Blockchain Summit by Amateo. I think we should all appreciate what Amateo is doing for COTI right now. So if you have that 15 minutes, please watch and make sure he hears what you guys think about what's happening. And that's it. I'm done. I'm going to stop rambling. This is us from coast to coast and around the world. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time on COTI Confidential.
Stay COTI.
This on, and congratulations to the 10th annual Global Blockchain Summit. My name is Amateo. I'm the CMO of COTI. We are the all-in-one privacy protocol, and we are built for enterprise and a wide variety of use cases. I'm going to walk you through all of that today. But as Paul mentioned, I'm really excited today to introduce COTI Nightfall. So as Paul has discussed, EY had been working on Nightfall, and it's now in its 4th iteration and coming into its 5th soon to be a ZK rollup. And we are very excited to be bringing Nightfall directly to Ethereum this year. So this has been a really exciting project. EY released Nightfall into the public domain, and we have decided to take this instant and deploy it within our privacy network. I want to give you a little bit of backstory about who we are and our privacy network to contextualize where Nightfall fits within the picture. So we have our existing privacy network that's powered by a unique encryption technology called garbled circuits. We're actually the only protocol that we're aware of in the world that uses garbled circuits. And this has been in production for a whole year. So for a year, garbled circuits has been powering in production privacy for a wide variety of use cases. And we just celebrated its 1-year anniversary and 110 million transactions on the network. A couple things about it and some use cases that have been really fascinating. We recently had a case study where a supply chain for vaccines in Bangladesh used our privacy technology. Those vaccines need to be stored and refrigerated in order to be transferred safely so that they don't lose their potency. They used our technology to privately encrypt that data because we specialize in multi-party computation, meaning anything that you need to do to compute logic, you can do with privacy. And they were able to do 10 million transactions with 0 data leakage and 0 errors, and it cost them $5. We also have the first privacy RWAs coming to our blockchain with our partner Zonex that are live now on testnet and coming to mainnet soon. And we also, if you're familiar with the sort of notorious liquidity protocol Bancor, they use our technology extensively to power arbitrage, where they do 60,000 transactions a day that they're able to leverage to utilize arbitrage, get money out of those opportunities before those opportunities get attacked by other bots who monitor arbitrage all over these networks. So those are just a few examples of how our technology has been used in privacy in production, and we are very focused in Ethereum. We're going to be bringing garbled circuits to Ethereum. That's a little bit about what we have done, but we're also really excited today to talk about Nightfall and the work that we're doing to bring Nightfall to Ethereum mainnet this year to launch alongside. So you have this sort of open protocol that's fast and lightweight to power privacy. And then you also have this enterprise-grade, enterprise-ready technology that is Nightfall that we are going to allow enterprises to enable and use. You've heard throughout this entire 3 days, the biggest blockers are privacy and compliance. Nightfall was designed in a really brilliant fashion to satisfy both of those things, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So I want to talk a little bit about Nightfall's use cases. Paul, I hope you're taking notes here. Essentially, Nightfall is a really dynamic protocol, first and foremost, when it comes to data. So if you are a business that needs to transfer data between each other, you can do that in a secure and encrypted fashion without leaking that sensitive data. Sensitive data logic is a huge issue, especially when it comes on chain. I think we've talked a lot about so much of the tokenized world coming on chain. I think we're going to consistently see more and more business data and more business logic come on chain, and that is really important for it to be private. We also have payments. So this is payments between businesses themselves, that they can conduct those payments between each other without revealing counterparties, without revealing wallet amounts, and without revealing the underlying transactions of who's receiving what, but being able to do that in a secure fashion that's also able to satisfy regulatory requirements. Nightfall was also really well designed to be able to handle supply chain logic, which is really cool. We've got experience in working with supply chain logic. We're very excited about this particular use case because, as you all know, supply chains have tons of inefficiencies in between them, but the actual consistent tracking from point A to point Z is very critical. All of those things need to be tamper-proof within a ledger, but there's a huge host of reasons why supply chain logic needs to and should stay private, and we're excited to see those use cases be built on COTI Nightfall. Financial services, we've talked a lot about this in the last few days, right? The tokenization of everything, securities, digital assets, RWAs. I think that this event was the first time that I heard a majority consensus from the major institutions in the 7 years that I've been in the industry that everyone agrees. They just agree wholeheartedly that the assets that exist in the real world are coming on chain. I don't think we've ever had that kind of consensus before. I don't think we've ever had as much mutual consensus that this will take place within Ethereum and layer 2s as they've really revealed to us this week. I was actually speaking with a woman from the Ethereum Foundation and said that this time a year ago, this consensus didn't exist. It wasn't even close to where it is today. And this is really remarkable. So these financial services are going to increase this process, and we're excited to bring many of those to Nightfall. And then, of course, digital ownership. This is a really cool piece because Nightfall has identity built into it so that you can have identity at the protocol level. And I'll touch on that more in a moment, but so that you can have verifiable who owns what on chain. This is a very critical piece of Nightfall. And then, of course, as mentioned, the tokenization. So all of these assets moving on chain, we can identify who issued them. We can identify who needs to be compliant with whom, make sure that those compliant requirements are set up, then build the business logic for the transfer of these assets or for business to take place. And all of it is able to happen about 3.5 times faster on Nightfall currently, and I'm sure that that will increase than it does on Ethereum. So you've got an order of magnitude greater speed, you have the immutability of Ethereum, but you also have this complex business identity and compliance logic that's built into it. So let's talk a little bit more about that compliance logic. As we work on this instance and bring it to testnet in the coming weeks and then further into mainnet, it really is built for regulation, compliance, and business. And I think that there's just so much attention when it comes to banks, when it comes to the biggest asset managers of the world. We really feel like there's a huge opportunity for the millions of businesses, from the mom and pop shops to the enterprises, that entire scale to actually access this ecosystem and this world. And that's something that we're really pushing for and that we're very passionate about. We think that the big institutions are going to lead the way in this in a very notable fashion. I don't know if anyone would have bet on that 10 years ago, that they would be the ones to be the leaders in taking the leap, but today they really are. But for whether it's a business or an enterprise, they can access the AML KYC flows. That's actually using X509 protocol. Those are the same identity protocols that standardize the internet. So it's a standardized protocol that's going to be brought down to the AML KYC level that we know is essential for working with different regulatory bodies. Paul asked a question about how, to the panel before me, about how they think about handling the compliance logic, and we just see that as logic. What's your business? What's the regulatory body, and where are you doing business? What needs to be satisfied, and what are the checks and balances that need to be met? What are the credentials that need to be revealed and to whom? That needs to be programmable. We take that same approach. And the more that programmability becomes logic, it's actually baked into the chain, it's baked into the smart contract, the faster assets can flow, the more global commerce can open. And that leads me to my next point, which is counterparty verification. And that essentially is just assuring that no matter who is doing business, that everything is verified, that you know that it's a safe transaction, and that the information of that transaction isn't revealed. So there's been quite a bit of talk about privacy recently. A lot of the big names have been mentioning this. And I think one of the big things around this is that the idea of, in a world where AI is abstracting everything, the moat continues to dry up where a lot of people thought they had it. It's a very concerning issue, but privacy actually is a moat itself. Because if you bring assets into a private network, those assets are coming in, it's going to be more difficult to bring them out. So the reason why you see these institutions be so forward in thinking about privacy is they understand that there is a moat opportunity here, and they want to take advantage of that moat as early as possible to bring those assets to the native chains that they do, so that they live with inside of it, and that's where they operate in business. And so having these pieces is really clear. I mentioned supply chain. With that comes audit trail. So if an asset, a tokenized asset, a product, a physical good moves from one place to the next, you need to be able to track each step of that, but you can't necessarily always reveal the underlying information involved. This is really critical, and this is actually something that EY, before bringing Nightfall to the open world, spent a lot of time on. Nightfall is extremely good when it comes to handling supply chain and audit trail logic while keeping the underlying information private. And that, of course, means that whoever was the originator is verified, and you're able to prove that, even if you're not going to reveal their identity. And that can mean maybe it's a thumbs up, maybe it's a checkbox to just ensure that whoever issued this asset is where it came from, and whatever that asset is has the logic attached to it, has the metadata, has the information to ensure that it is accurate and that it is real. And then, of course, no centralized gatekeepers. This means that the identity piece of this is accessible and is open, and that there's multiple issuers to it so that anyone can join and anyone can build on this. We're really big on open networks. We want to create an environment where anyone can build, that these docs are open source, and that you can access privacy for your use case, but in a way that's not going to get you into trouble. It's really important that we hit these KYC, AML, and compliance needs. I think when we look at the state of things, I think it's going to be the innovators that take the leap here. I don't know necessarily that the big institutions are going to take on some of these risks, but those who want to do business in a global way while protecting this private data, understanding that this is an opportunity, a massive opportunity to break ground in new business territory, are going to leverage private networks. Because again, when so much of the moats are drying up so quickly, when technology and software is being abstracted every single day, it's going to be able to be the preservation and the protection of this information and the ability to transfer and move it in a secure fashion, which is the next step of where we see this headed. So with that, I'm really excited to have introduced COTI Nightfall today, and to be brought here by the EY team to be able to do this. I got a little form if you would like to connect. Would love to connect with any of you, both online and live, who are interested in exploring building on Nightfall and working together. We're highly collaborative, and would love to speak to you. So thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations. We're so
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for COTI season 3? COTI from coast to coast and around the world. COTI, COTI, feel the energy. Gobble circuit sparking the glow. Hey.